Do, do, do. Okay, alright, so, hi. I'm slowly running out of money and no place wants to hire me, so here's a tutorial. So, bam, bam, bam. I got some stickers coming, okay? We're gonna do a shading tutorial, because that's, I think, a thing I know how to do. So, a thing, as you can see from down here at the bottom, I did my colouring layer, which is this one, the one that I haven't named yet, colour. I did this one, of course flat colours, and I added a multiply layer at 100%. And I usually pick, I know a lot of people like add another normal layer of a dark colour, and then they just kind of like start lowering the opacity, but I don't really drive that way. I like a nice multiply. I usually choose a purplish tone because with shadows, the shadows themselves are in colder tones. Like it's something cool, like blue or turquoise or like a deep purple or something, you know? Very, very rarely will you have to shade with warm colours. Warm colours are usually considered, you know, the highlight colours. Because, you know, the basic setting, oh, sun hits face, face is warm, sun doesn't hit shadows, shadows are cold, you know. So portrait. Let's go of a girl because that seems to draw more attention. Okay, let's try this one. If we take her skin colour, which is a rather warm tone over here, you see it's in the oranges, really light orange, and we move to her shadowy part, you can see it moves to a colder tone, which is more around the pinkish. That's the usual thing, but it all depends on the lighting. We've got these two little glorious pigeons, and I don't know why, but my go-to colour is something purplish, really up over here. And then I usually just gotta distinguish a light source. You always have to distinguish a light source. If you don't distinguish a light source, then you know pretty much entire picture is completely screwed. Let's say that this light source is coming, it's a cone. It's coming like this. So it kinda illuminates like this over here, and this over here, and a lot of the body over here. Right, you following? I wouldn't. I'm just gonna really quickly blotch them in, because you know we're trying to keep the comic-y style. And put some over here. Yes. And maybe even some over here. Because this is, we need to always think in 3 dimensions, you know, like the world. I know these are just flat images, but try to think of them as, you know, real world things, like they exist in 3D. 3D thinking is really useful in any sort of artwork, whatever you're doing. It's gonna come in handy. A thing I often do is add a little bit of a shadow to the eye as well. It just gives it a really nice look. You see? Now, this part won't get any light. If the light is coming from a cone, it's coming, you know, it's coming from a direction. Not gonna lie, I'm not the best at this, but I'm trying my best. And I guess that's all that matters. Let's add a little shadow over here. Very nice, very nice. Add a little shadow over here. Maybe over here as well. And add a shadow over here. We need to constantly keep thinking about where the light is coming from, you know? You know? Catch my drift? A Tokyo drift. Oh. Sometimes I do this thing where I'll press the control button, it should work in both Photoshop and Clip Studio, and then I press the flat color layer, and you see it selects the entire thing, and it makes my life easier for me as a 5-year-old who does not really stick in the lines. It's hard, okay? I might be an artist, but it's hard to colour in between the lines. You'd guess that 21 years of drawing had, you know, taught me something, but no, not really. Kind of just wing it. But doesn't everybody though? I'm broken down. I need your loving, I need it now. So think that the feet are under the pigeons, so they have some sort of a little shade on them from the body. Now we might add a little bit over here as well, because the wings are rounded objects. Just to kind of give it some figure, you know? Let people know that yes, this is indeed a 3D image. Now let's remove, this is really easy shading right now, really minimal, because we're trying to keep it minimal. Let's maybe add a little bit over here as well. See, it just gives texture to it. Oh, let's add a little bit to the feet down here. Just like gives not only contrast, but it like adds spices to the whole meal, you know? So a nice little thing that I do as well, some might call it cheating, some I might call it just being lazy. I kind of take a gradient, select all the colors. Let's increase the size by 1 so we'd get all the line art as well. Now, Clip Studio has this really nice tool where you can pretty much paint in the selection. It's kind of like Paint Tool Sai, but better. And now on the multiply layer, I use just a little bit of a gradient. And I do the same thing with this side. Oh boy, totally not what I wanted to do. Oopsie daisy. Alright, so we go with this. Is this selected? This better be selected. We increase the size by 1. So everything would get their fair share of colour. And then we do a little thing on the right layer. Yeah, you see? It gives it a little really nice small effect. Like it's nothing special, but it really makes it pop. Now, another thing that we could always do, that always adds a lot to a picture, at least in my case, is get rid of the line art. Oh. Let me just fix that real quick. It's not perfect, but it's okay. I'm not here to do a perfect piece. I'm here to talk about shading. So the thing about shading, shaded lines will, shading in general, especially the multiply layer, it will come in very handy when you're doing a no line art piece. As you can see, I can easily separate the pretzel pieces from each other just by the shadows. I can indicate that yes, this is moving over there and this is moving over here, and that these are crossing each other. I think it's as easy as that. Okay, it looks really good from afar. Right now, we're just gonna... Oh no. Oh dear god, no. Wrong thing. We're just gonna bring back the line art, but as a slightly different tone. See, this has a nice effect as well. Ignore the little mistakes. So this is one way I do really easy line art. It's kind of like got this cartoonish look to it with the really sharp lines and the minimalistic approach. There is, of course, you could always. Yes, I'm doing this in real time. Give me a second. My brain is just running miles behind. You could always soften it up with a nice. Don't use a blender. Use some sort of a brush. Like I'm using a flat oil brush. It's nice. It's kind of got a little bit of a texture to it. And sometimes when needed, I just kind of rough out the edges with it. Just a tiny bit, because it gives it sort of like a softer feeling than the really basic cartoonish lines. Although the cartoonish shading is one of my favorites as well. It's really easy to do, it's really effective. You can use it in so many different mediums and in so many different ways. But sometimes, you know, you just gotta get a slightly softer tone. So always use some sort of a nice brush. As I said, I use an oil brush. You can use either a watercolor or a gouache brush or whatever, just a regular good painting brush, because it gives it a nice effect. If I do a blending tool, it looks kinda too soft and too fake, and it doesn't give the same feel, you know? So I always suggest using some sort of a textured brush. It gives it a really nice feel. And don't blend the lines completely so you can't see where it begins and where it ends. I usually just do a few strokes with the brush, so you still have kind of an idea where what is. So I wouldn't completely just eliminate the shading. So it's still got sort of that like basic cartoony shading feel. See, they look soft, they look cute, they are adorable. We can always add some sort of small details, like, oh boy, I was using the wrong brush. Yes, that's my favorite detail. Small details like, for instance, little seeds on the pretzel that I haven't tasted because I live in a country that doesn't really have pretzels. Just add little like seeds or something. Something small. It's always really nice to add like random little details to your drawings. I feel like it brings a lot to the table. You see, already you've got more to look at. Another thing I do is I do a soft light layer, or you can just do a normal layer with a slightly lower opacity, or if you want to go bold, do a glow layer. And then I take a really light tone, really light, and then I just add a few, like practically white. I just add a few details here and there. Give them sort of a feathery feeling, you know? Okay, here's a darker tone, so I use a slightly darker tone here as well for the effect. And for the really light places, I tend to do this thing with the multiply layer, that I take the shading color and I add some effects with this as well. Just a tiny bit, you know. The tiny bit does more than you can imagine. See, they look cool. They look really cool. You can also do a little thing where you go back to the color layer and you take some sort of you take the bottom color that you've used on I've used on the neck and everything, and kind of make it pinkish. Really cute, slightly darker. Go back to the flat oil brush that we used to shade. Just kind of do a little bit of a cute little blush. This might be too much of a brown tone. You can always experiment around with colours. Go like hot pink maybe. Yeah, you see, much better. Let's add a little bit of a blush here as well. Very cute. You can always try a lighter tone as well, if the bottom tone is like really dark, because a lighter tone might do wonders. It brings a really nice little effect to the entire image. Also, if you want to go super fancy, I suggest adding a glow layer. Add glow, as it's called in Clip Studio. Of course, Photoshop has its own weird layers. I don't know who hurt that child, but Photoshop is messed up. I do this little thing. If it's a rounded subject, like this little piece of pretzel over here, I do a selection, a round selection, following the line, the general 3D shape of it. And then I take a white gradient, and then I just do kind of this. And then it gives this really nice glow to it. You see? And I do the same thing here. Since it's a really thin pretzel, I might do a slightly smaller one. Let's do a little dab here as well. It gives it sort of a really nice feel. If only it weren't pixelated. I'm gonna fix that later on. This is a quick tutorial. I don't just watch it, just like, just share and subscribe, and make it so that I'm not talking to myself, okay? Even if I were, it wouldn't be anything out of the ordinary. That's the sad truth. You see, it gives so much to the image, just a tiny bit. a really tiny bit of a reflection. Let's do this as well. You see, so much life. So much life. The spread is practically living. It's breathing along with the pigeons. See, so much better. It's got character. It's got thoughts, opinions, career choices, gender neutrality opinions. It's got so much going on. And the final thing I like to do with an add glow layer is I like to bring it above the line art layer. Do it if possible. If it messes up your line art, do another add glow layer. And then just do a little bit of... See? So cute. So cute. And then maybe just a... Oh, that is a bit too rough. Or maybe we can pull it off. Maybe we can pull it off here. Or maybe we can't pull it off. Sometimes your ideas are rubbish and you just gotta deal with it. Because that's life. You can add a little itsy bitsy tiny glow to the cheek as well if you'd like. It's a thing that I do. And just again mesh it slightly around with a brush. Because it doesn't completely fade it out. It sometimes adds to it, adds more colour and so on. I think this one is a bit too insane. We don't need any more insanity on this channel, just go with it. Yeah, you see? We did a nice little pretzel with some nice little pigeons. Pidgey, pigeons, pigeons. What if we do like the same thing over here? You see? It gives effect. Let's do the same thing over here. Is this a bad idea? Probably. Am I still gonna do it? Yes. Yes, indeedy, that's a horrible idea. But you see, art is all about trial and error. Sometimes you try, sometimes you fail, sometimes you don't. You just gotta jump right into it, you know? Jump in, try a few new things, experiment a little, both in real life and in art. Don't be afraid to try new things, okay? You've only got one chance at this life. Now, try living it, okay? But yeah, that's it for now. Wait, that's not it for now. What am I talking about? I need to do these as well. Okay, now that's it. That's it, yes. Okay, so that's what we're doing today, and that's what we did today. We can add a little bit of sparkle here as well. Very cute, very cute. Now this is adorable. That's it for me today. Yes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for suffering through this. It helped me get YouTube to pay me money so I wouldn't die of starvation. Thank you very much. I hope to see you in the next video that will come out next year probably. Thank you. Bye.